Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another real estate podcast. I have one of my friends on, Cassandra, who is a property manager. So today's topic, we're going to talk everything property management for all those investors out there, real estate agents. You're working with these investors that are looking to buy, fix, and rent property. Cassandra is the person for you to know. So Cassandra, welcome to the show today.
Thank you for having me, Kevin. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. So let's just start a brief overview, just a little bit about who you are. Obviously, I know you cover the entire state. We can get more to that in a little bit. But just tell the viewers that are listening or watching a little bit about you.
So I am a broker, owner of several residential property management companies. The company is called All County. And I've been doing this for over 20 years. Absolutely loved it. It was one of my first jobs when I started college at UCF, and I can't get away from it. It's just something that I love doing. I love interacting with people, helping people. I'm also a Florida Realtors instructor, so I love to educate individuals on property management and how to set up their business correctly so that they can manage their property with ease. I have 2 children. They keep me busy. I say my part-time side gig is Uber mom because I just drive my kids wherever they need to go. So I have a 13-year-old son and a 15-year-old daughter. Been married for 18 years. And this is my passion. This is what I love to do, and super excited to share.
Absolutely.
So ask away.
We love having guests on the show that, are passionate about what they do. They've been doing it a long time. I don't like to interview the guests that are just trying to find their why now, but they haven't been doing it. I've always said a successful business takes at least 5 years to learn. And then probably another 5 years to master. So you've been doing it 20 years. So congratulations. So let's start with the easy question.
Thank you.
Why does someone need a property manager?
Well, property management is a very, very intricate industry in that there are so many rules and laws when it comes to tenant landlord laws and rules. And a lot of people don't understand their timelines. There are just legal aspects of what property management is about. And so you really need a property manager to help you with that. Not only that, but most likely the individual that's managing the property themselves, they have a full-time job. And the property management in and of itself is a full-time job. So I always like to tell people, you need to fire yourself and hire me because I can dedicate myself to taking care of your property, dealing with the tenants. I mean, can you imagine enjoying a wonderful romantic dinner with your spouse and you're getting a phone call about a plumbing issue? Or if you're in the middle of a meeting and your tenant is just calling you back to back to back with an issue that could have been easily handled after hours. So for those individuals that are really busy professionals, it's better to hire a property manager. They know the ins and outs and they can deal with all the nitty gritty day-to-day stuff that you don't need to.
I know one of my best friends does a lot of real estate investing. He's always tells his tenants, don't make your emergency my emergency. So if it's an emergency, call 911. If not, we'll deal with it in the morning. So it's important.
Exactly.
So, another question, tell the viewers and listeners out there, what type of properties, so if they're looking to buy a property, what type of properties do you specialize in and what locations do you specialize in?
We handle individual residential homes. So they can be high-end homes, they could be smaller homes. We also do townhomes, condos, villas. We can pretty much handle it, except for short-term rental. We don't do short-term rental or vacation rentals. And we have offices in Jacksonville. We have offices in Pembroke Pines, cover the Dade County and Broward area. We have an office in West Palm. So we go as far up as Port St. Lucie and far down south as Kendall. We have an office in Orlando, 2 offices, one in Lake Mary and one in downtown Orlando. And we also have one in Lake City, which is near Gainesville. And just recently we acquired an office in Seattle, Washington.
Oh, wow. Well, that's great. How many properties do you have that you're managing?
We have over 3,000 properties that we're managing.
Wow. Yeah. So, I mean, for those that are listening out here, we have a lot of the investors, they buy and they rent one property. I owned a bunch of property up in Fort Pierce, and it wound up getting to a point where I was like, I was letting the tenants just stay there and not pay rent because I'm like, I'm too tired to evict.
Yeah.
I was too busy in my regular business, and it became cumbersome for me. So if I would have had a resource like you to reach out to say, listen, you could manage all 10 of my properties, it's going to save me time, save me headache. Very, very important. So, all right. So the investor hires you to obviously manage their property. Do you help find tenants, or is
Absolutely.
that another service?
Yes. So we handle the whole thing. We just say it's a one-stop shop. You can set it and forget it. You give us the property and we handle everything. So we market the property for you, find qualified tenants, do a thorough background check, make sure that they credit-wise, they qualified income-wise, and there's no issues. And then once we move them in, we handle the day-to-day. So 24 hours. You get a phone call at 2 p.m. or 2 a.m., we're there, we're handling it. We collect the rent, deal with any HOA issues, and if for whatever reason the tenant does not pay rent, we post notices and we engage an attorney on your behalf to start the eviction process. And then the most important thing is that we're inspecting the properties on a yearly, sometimes biannually basis, and we do a drive-by quarterly to make sure that the property is being maintained, and then we'll renew if they're doing a good job taking care of your home. If not, we'll have a conversation, we'll talk about getting them out.
Nice. Well, you talked about the eviction word, which is great. What is your process?
Mhm.
So handling, obviously, tenants, they wind up being a little late. How do you deal with that? That must be pretty stressful to have to, obviously you're going to someone that is probably having a hard time. Maybe they lost their job. Maybe they're not, they're sick. They had a death in the family. Explain to me a little bit about that, because obviously you've been doing this 20 years and you're so passionate about the business. What do you notice with that? Do you have a story maybe that comes to mind?
Yeah.
An issue?
When I started in this business, I mentioned that it was one of my first jobs as a college student. I remember having to do my first eviction, and my manager at the time sent me to do the eviction, and I cried. I cried the whole entire time because these individuals, they were down on their luck and they had children. I actually held the baby while they were getting stuff out before they locked the doors. And my manager went and got me. I was begging the maintenance guys, please help them. And she came to me and she said, listen, I totally understand how you feel, but what you have to understand is that we notified the tenants properly. We gave them ample amount of time. And it takes a good 30 days. So they knew that it was coming. And on top of that, the sheriff does post a notice 24 hours to let them know. So there is a compassionate side. Being in this business, I fully understand things happen, but I also understand that this is a business. And that's why a lot of times clients hire me so they don't have to feel that guilty side of, oh, but they, and then sometimes tenants take advantage of that, right? And so understanding the humane side, I offer options. There are agencies out there that actually help people. During COVID, that was a big issue. So what we did is we researched all the agencies that help, and we always provide the tenants with those options. If they don't pursue that, then I think very quickly you understand that somebody's just really trying to take advantage. And then we try to negotiate to get them out on their own. And if that doesn't work, then we go, the hard hand and we go through eviction. So we really are working with the tenants. We're not just like, kicking them out. Because I'll never forget that first experience. I always have the compassion for the individual, but then I also remember the business side. So I'm even-handed, I'd like to say.
That's great. Again, I think it goes back to what you said from the beginning. You've been doing this 20 years and you're passionate about it. So you're getting real solutions for clients. And, that's one of the things at my company that, every time we get interviewed, they say, what's your passion? I said, my passion is not doing real estate closings. My passion is stopping real estate fraud and uncovering wire fraud and preventing clients from losing money. Like, my business and my passion truly thrives on helping others. And the product is just the real estate closing that we offer. But there's so much more that goes into being an entrepreneur and building a successful business for 20 years. I mean, it's not easy, right? We're celebrating our 20th year in July this year, and it's
Congratulations.
thank
That's
you.
awesome.
It's not easy. It's not easy to build a business. So I think, we love having guests on the show that can really share not only their expertise, but they share their passion as to what they do and how you love to help people and educate people. So I think it's I think it's really great. One of the things, a lot of these investors they have, and it's like, they're getting calls in the middle of the night. There are problems at the property. So tell me a little story, maybe about something that occurs, and I'm talking like there are major problems, obviously, and I'm not talking like mechanic problems. I'm talking like there's drama at the property. The police get called to the property. How do you deal with these types of tenant issues so it doesn't necessarily affect the landlord that wants to be hands off?
Well, I think being proactive in the sense of before we put that tenant in place, we are doing a thorough check. So we're checking with the previous landlord, and like I said, doing a background check, credit check. So the individuals that we put in, we've done a pretty good job of vetting them, first of all. And if they are good tenants and they care about their credit, most likely they do not want to jeopardize that. So we really do not have too many issues, but like you said, there are some one-off situations. Usually it's the tenant's friend, brother, somebody that's not supposed to be there that causes the problem. And one of the things that I like to say is that I like to educate, negotiate, and mediate. And so I always tell the owners what their options are. I educate them, and then I allow them to make the decision, and then I mediate it with the tenant. So in one particular situation, I had an owner that wanted to do some work in the property. There was a leak. The tenants were out of town. And so he sent a locksmith over there and changed the locks just so that he could get in, address the issue, and he left a lockbox there for the tenants so that they can just put the key in there and give them the code. Well, unfortunately, for whatever reason, the tenants did not get the message, and the landlord was sued for that because it's illegal to change the locks on a tenant, and it's called a lockout. So the owner was sued for that, and it was unfortunate because the owner decided to do something on his own. While it made sense. It wasn't something that he was trying to do maliciously. He just really wanted to go in and take care of the problem. He decided to go around us and do it himself. Well, what we had to do is we had to reach out to the tenants and we had to try to mitigate that situation. It was going to cost him $15,000, and the tenant was going to be allowed to stay in the property for 3 months. We had documentation to show that he did attempt to give them the code. So we had to go back and forth with the judge to show the intention behind what this owner was doing. And fortunately, he just had to let them stay in the property for 2 months rent free, and he didn't have to end up paying that money out of pocket. But it's really important. That's why I say it's good to hire a manager. While you do something that makes sense, it can cost you thousands on the back end. So, that was one of my situations. So it's educate, negotiate, mediate.
Right. And I think a lot of your answers are leading into some of the other questions I come up with. So obviously this was an issue. It wound up hitting into the courtroom. I'm sure you deal with that often where they're calling subpoena you in to, testify in some of these cases. How do you stay up to date on all of these rules and regulations and just knowing what to do, what not to do? And obviously you have a landlord that needs to follow these rules as well. So how do you navigate that?
Well, first of all, with the owners, it's a relationship. It's almost like a marriage. You got to trust me, and I trust you. So they hire me because I am the professional and I know what I'm doing. But how do I educate myself? There's a lot of continuing education that I do. And by the way, I'm not a lone writer here. I'm not just one person. I have a team of individuals. So we have webinars, workshops with our attorneys. We work hand in hand with our attorneys. Whenever something changes, they notify us. I'm a Florida Realtors instructor, so it's my job to be educated on the industry. So I'm constantly taking courses, going to these workshops with attorneys, and I get notifications from the National Association of Realtors, the Florida Realtors Association, saying, hey, this mandate is happening in Broward County, Dade County, West Palm, all over Florida. And then the first thing that I do is I educate my team. And then if it affects my owners are getting a notification. They're being educated as well.
That's great. So let's talk about fees, like fee structure. So obviously a lot of these landlords think it's easier to do it on their own, but what's a general rule of thumb of what does it cost to hire a property manager? Who pays the fee and how do you get paid?
The fees, so due to antitrust, I always try to stay away from talking about that, but I can say what I charge for myself personally, and it is on my website. So we charge a leasing fee, we charge a management fee, and we charge a renewal fee. Other companies may charge different ancillary charges, fees on the back end, but I keep it simple. 3 fees. Leasing fee is where we market the property, we find the tenant, qualify them, do background check, and then deal with the HOA and move them in. When I say market, we're listing it on MLS and our syndicated website. And for that, we charge 1 month's rent. And again, that is what we charge, our fee. And then for management, that's where we collect the monthly rent, 24-hour maintenance, dealing with any HOA issues, anything to do with the tenant. We handle all that. And for that, we charge 10% of the monthly rent collected. So if we don't collect rent, you're not being charged. So when we collect rent, then we take 10% of the monthly rent collected. Again, that's my fee. And then the last fee that we charge is a flat $300 for the renewal fee. And that's basically where we do an inspection, like I mentioned to you before, make sure the tenant's taking care of it. We do a comp analysis, renegotiate the lease, and make sure that that tenant stays in there for another year and sometimes even 2. And that's it for us. We don't charge any other fees. We don't upcharge on the maintenance. We don't, back charge you on the back end for any of that stuff. Just real simple, 3 fees.
All right. Well, that makes sense. So now that leads us into obviously tenant pays the rent. How do you report to me? Like what, as a landlord, what type of reporting am I getting to be able to see, what's going on with the property? I'm sure you have a system for that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Look, we're in a digital world. Everybody wants things now. And we have clients all over the world. And so that might be a different time zone. So it's not really fair for you to have to wait, 24 hours, 48 hours just to get information. So we have an online system that allows the owner to see when the tenant pays rent, when the tenant puts in a maintenance request. And when we pay a bill for you, that invoice is all there on your online portal. Tax season just passed, or actually we're still in the middle of tax season. And many of our clients have their accountants just log in and they can pull their profit and loss. They can pull their statements on demand at their fingertips. On top of that, every month we do send a statement so they don't have to, fumble around and get logged in there. But every month they get a statement. So we do direct deposit right into your account every month that we collect those rents, and you get a statement letting you know what's happening with your property. And anytime you have any questions, you can always shoot us an email or give us a call during business hours.
Awesome. So now let's flip it back on the tenants. Tenants are there. They have a problem, so they give you a call. Let's just say during the day, oh, my fridge isn't cooling anymore. What is your process when something like that happens?
Same thing. We're automated. We have a system that allows the tenants to put in a request on their phone, just put it online. And then we respond to them, text them back and say, hey, we just got your request. We assign a maintenance person. They're going to reach out to you and they're going to schedule something. So then the maintenance person starts talking to them right there on the phone. We hire licensed and insured vendors. So they're not our guys. And we have pre-negotiated rates and they're great. So makes it easy.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question, talking about, obviously you have to have a network of vendors and contractors and repair people. So obviously you handle all of that for the tenant, for the landlord and the tenant.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Let me tell you, our vendors are our partners. When we grow, they grow. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten actually a referral from a vendor. They're servicing a property, and they're saying, "Hey, this owner really needs some help." But not only that, but we've given millions of business, millions of dollars of business to vendors in our community. We've watched vendors grow. They're a small mom and pop, and they hired 2 and 3 other people. And so we have really, really partnered with our vendors. They're our community partners. They do great work. They make us look good, and we give them business. So it's been a beautiful relationship.
Sounds like a win-win for everyone. All right, I got 3 more questions as we're wrapping up. So if I'm the landlord, what type of communication do I have from you? Do I talk to you often? Is it something I only talk to you once a year unless there's a problem?
No, so everybody's different, right? Some people are really busy. They don't want to hear from me unless there's a problem. And some people, they want to talk to someone. But like I said before, it's not just me. I have a team of people. So I'm not just one person. Because guess what? I'll get sick or my kids will get sick. And then when you need me, I'm not available. So we've got a maintenance department. We've got an accounting department. On top of that, you have a dedicated property manager that's the relationship manager that deals specifically with your property. And then we've got a team that can answer your questions at any time. We've got a leasing specialist. So owners that need more attention, they're going to get it through that text feature for any maintenance. They're going to get it through email. They're going to get it via phone call. And for those who really don't want to hear from us unless there's a problem, email, again, text, or they have their online portal. So we really just customize it to the individual.
Nice. So I said earlier, don't make my emergency, your emergency, my emergency, which is what one of my friends, David, says all the time. But emergencies happen. How do you deal with an emergency? Middle of the night, something. Let's just say a fire in a property. Is there a process to deal with that?
Well, we do educate our tenants on what's an emergency. And like you said, don't call me, call 911 if it's like a true emergency. But those middle of the night issues, we have a emergency hotline. So as soon as they call it, somebody will pick up. Even if somebody doesn't pick up, it sends a text feature to say, hey, this is the issue, so they can detail what's happening so that we can hire somebody and get them to them right away. But we have an emergency line that anybody can reach out to, and then we can address it right then and there.
Nice. So my last question, obviously we have lots of our investors that are going to see this because we're going to email it out to all of them. If they wanted to learn more about you, but more importantly, they like to research. So they want to hear testimonials of clients. Where do they find out, client experiences to, feel a little bit more comfortable working with you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of people are very leery of sending somebody to Google, but I put my money where my mouth is. So I tell people, Google me. Yeah, you're going to see some reviews on individuals that aren't very happy with us, mostly tenants, because we evicted them. We held them accountable. They didn't pay their rent, or so you're going to see some bad reviews there. However, you're going to see some great reviews from owners who are happy with what we've done, and we've done a really great job. So Google me as what I normally would tell people. I have several offices, but All County CFL is one of my top offices. More than happy to take a look at that. So allcountycfl.com. That's All County, C as in cat, F as in Frank, L as in Larry. Or you can just Google All County PPM. That's All County PP paulmary.com, and you'll find information on our services and how we've done.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to hop on the call today and obviously educate everyone. For me, it's so nice to be able to talk with entrepreneurs that, if they don't hire you, there doesn't seem like there's a better option. You've been doing it 20 years, you cover the whole state. I know I asked you the other day about Pahokee. Like, most people don't even know where Pahokee is. But for you to be able to say, yeah, we can handle it, we can cover you. I think it really just gives people to the ability to work smarter, not harder, right? So they hire someone like you. Right. Yes, they're going to have to give up a little bit of money, but they're going to make their process so much easier, make their life so much easier to get themselves in a rhythm and in a routine. So I appreciate you hopping on the call. Any last minute things you want to tell the viewers?
No, like I said, I mentioned before that I'm not the only person, and I have an amazing team. They are leaders in their own rights, and they really care about what they do. We're also licensed and insured. We're all licensed and insured, and we're licensed real estate agents, which is very, very key. A lot of people don't know that you should work with only a licensed agent, even though we focus on property management. And we do partner with real estate agents that don't do property management. But I appreciate you taking the time to let me talk to the viewers out there about what we do, and hopefully I can help the next person.
All right, everyone, thank you for watching this episode. We look forward to you listening to another episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share to your audience. And as always, we'll look forward to seeing you at the closing table soon. Have a great day, everyone.